The Honorable Tinio is recognized for his sponsorship speech.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 27 years ago, the Filipino people made it the nation's policy, a mandate for the state to guarantee equal access to opportunities for public service and prohibit political dynasties as may be defined by law. To this day, nearly 3 decades later, Congress and successive presidents have failed to prohibit the oligarchic rule of elite families as mandated by the Constitution. This failure allowed the entrenchment, according to a 2007 study of the Center for People Empowerment and Governance, of around 250 dominant families in Philippine politics at the national and local level, with these families monopolizing political power for the past 30 years and more. This domination is reserved to less than 1% of the country's 15 million families. This failure, according to Political and Economic Research Center, EBOL, resulted in the reign of elite political clans in the House of Representatives and the Senate, with legislators from prominent families occupying 87 and 85% of the seats, respectively. This failure resulted in 94% of the provinces, or 73 out of a total of 80, being ruled by select families with an average of 2.31 political families per province. These facts and figures have earned for the Philippines the distinction of being the political dynasty capital of the world. International media and human rights monitors have confirmed that conflicts among political dynasties begets political violence, which has earned our elections the notoriety of being among the bloodiest and dirtiest in the world. Our country has the shame of being the site of the massacre, one of the most gruesome election-related massacres in the world. Local and international findings also point to political dynasties as one of the major factors behind the ever-widening gap between the rich and the poor. In April this year, the Bertelsmann Foundation recommended that the dominance of entrenched family clans in politics and the economy should be reduced to make politics and economics more transparent and competitive. Government's own National Statistical Coordination Board presented last October a study by economists finding that poverty is linked to the prevalence of political dynasty control. The Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism, in its book, The Rulemakers, How the Wealthy and Well-Born Dominate the Congress, stressed that with elite dominance, those who make the laws for the country are therefore hardly representative of its citizens. Lawmakers have employed their powers to further enrich themselves and entrench their families in power. Dynasties of landed elites, for instance, leave little hope for genuine agrarian reform. Congress has failed to act on its constitutional mandate for 27 years. The House Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms of this 16th Congress took the first step to break that inaction by unanimously voting to approve House Bill 3587 or the anti-political dynasty bill. This historic vote in November last year, at least 12 years after the first anti-dynasty bill was filed, says that there is hope that the right of the ordinary Filipino to equal access to public service will be finally fleshed out into law. It is also a testament to the desire for good governance and greater transparency, which the public has intensely demonstrated and continues to demonstrate through street protests, the formation of sectoral alliances, efforts towards a people's initiative, and other collective actions in the sustained and growing campaign against political dynasties. The entrenchment of dynasties in the political branches of government is a great obstacle to the enactment of an anti-political dynasty law, but the Filipino people's resolve is greater. House Bill 3587 defines political dynasty as the concentration, consolidation, or perpetuation of public office and political power by persons related to one another. A political dynasty exists when two or more individuals related within the second degree of consanguinity or affinity hold or run for national or local office in successive, simultaneous, or overlapping terms. The prohibited political dynasty relationship applies to that between legal or common law spouses, as well as legitimate or illegitimate and full or half-blood relations. Where this prohibition exists, one shall not be allowed to hold or run for any local or national elective office in the same election. The prohibition extends to candidates who have the prohibited relationship to an incumbent elective official seeking re-election, and to fellow candidates who have the prohibited relationship to each other, in which case the Commission on Election shall decide who shall be allowed to hold or run for office through a raffle or drawing of lots. Immediate succession of one having the prohibited relationship to an incumbent official shall also be prohibited. Punong barangays or members of the Sangguniang Barangay are not covered by the prohibition. The constitutional prohibition is given more teeth with the requirement of the filing by a candidate of a sworn statement to the Commission on Elections that he or she does not have a political dynasty relationship with an incumbent elected official running for any elected public office. Violation of the prohibition will be ground for denial of due course to the candidate's certificate of candidacy, non-counting of votes cast for the candidate, and non-proclamation. Mr. Speaker, bilang pangwakas sa sponsorship na ito, nais ko lang balikan natin muli kung bakit at paano tayo nakaabot sa makasaysayang puntong ito. Katulad ng nabanggit na ng mga unang sponsor, sa unang pagkakataon matapos ang 27 taon mula ng unang itakda ng konstitusyon ng 1987 na pinagbabawal ang mga political dynasty, ay sa unang-unang pagkakataon merong anti-political dynasty bill na na-sponsor sa plenaryo ito ng ikalabing-anim na Kongreso. Bakit tayo nakaabot dito? Walang ibang dahilan, Mr. Speaker, kundi ang realidad ng pagkamulat ng mamamayan. Nagising na po ang mamamayang Pilipino may sapat na bilang na po ng mga namulat na mamamayan na handa nang ipaglaban ang pagbabawal sa patuloy na paghahari ng ilang mga pamilya sa lahat ng antas ng gobyerno. At ang pwersa po ito ay hindi natin mapipigilan, hindi natin matatawaran. Nakita na po natin ang bisa at kapangyarihan ng mulat na mamamayan. Dahil po nito, nabasura ang PDAF, Priority Development Assistance Fund. Dahil po nito, sa mulat na mamamayan, napigil po sa ilang pagkakataon ang pagsusulong ng charter change sa ilalim ng mga nakaraang administrasyon. At sa aking paniniwala ay pipigil pa rin sa pagsusulong ng charter change sa kasalukuyang administrasyon, sa ilalim ng kasalukuyang administrasyon. Dahil po sa mulat at kumikilos na mamamayan napatalsik ang mga base militar ng Estados Unidos. Kaya buo po ang aking paniniwala na dahil sa suporta at pagbabantay ng mulat na mamamayan ay maipapasanin ang anti-political dynasty bill na nakasalo ngayon. Panahon na, oras na, ipasa na po natin ang anti-dynasty bill. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker.